We're moving forward with a regional approach, and we're moving forward with an approach that lets us make decisions for specific parts of Ontario based on what's happening on the ground, based on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, our command table, and our local public health experts. Most regions in Ontario will be allowed to proceed to Stage 2 this Friday, June the 12th. Stage 2 will allow people to resume many parts of their daily life. Wedding venues and religious places of worship will be able to host wedding ceremonies with a 10-person limit. Drive-in and drive-through venues for theaters, concerts, animal attractions, and art installations. Beauty salons, hairdressers, barbershops, day spas, and other personal care services, with the exception of facial services. Indoor shopping malls, with the food courts restricted to takeout. Restaurants and bars will be allowed to open their patios. Summer day camps will be able to open as well. More camping at Ontario parks and private campgrounds, as well as beach access. Libraries, community centers, museums, and galleries with physical distancing and capacity limits. Tour and guide services, including bike, walking, and bus tours. Recreational amenities, including splash pads, wading pools and swimming pools, and training for outdoor team sports. And tomorrow, we'll release our plan to reopen childcare to support parents returning to work. And for the regions that must wait a little longer, I ask you please remain patient. We will get there soon.
And of course, also opening in this second stage are barbershops. And joining me now to talk about this reopening is barbershop owner, Artisans Edge owner, Jennifer Thomas. Jennifer, thanks very much for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
Jennifer, I want to hear your immediate reaction to this announcement that barbershops will likely be opening by this Friday.
So happy, so excited for myself and all the shop owners that are allowed to reopen.
So what would your plan look like right now? I know we were talking a bit about, and you're not the only one, there's a lot of businesses that aren't really feeling super prepared to open in the time frame that the Ford government has given here. So what would it look like to have the Artisans Edge reopening again?
Well, I had already been making some preparations. So it's a little sooner than I expected, but we are, just to make sure we've got a structure and our customers feel confident that they're safe when they come in. That's really important to me. So that's our main concern right now. And of course, my team. And so as soon as we can reopen, we will do so with new procedures in place.
And not to put any pressure on you in terms of this, but do you have a timeline in mind at all at this point? I know, again, this is literally hours after the announcement, so.
As soon as possible. I'm hoping that we can start taking appointments in the next couple days and start getting our shops busy again.
So one of the things that you had advertised is that you're going to be doing some online appointment taking to get people prepared because we know that everyone needs a haircut. I need my haircut. There's a lot of lineups that are going to need their haircut. So tell me about that process that you're going to put in place.
Yes, you will be able to. We were strictly walk-ins only, so I've had to change my business completely. But now you will be able to go online and book an appointment once that's up and running, which should be in the next few days. You can book a time and possibly even with a particular barber, if you prefer, in both locations, because we won't obviously be able to offer walk-in service until further notice. Eventually, we hope that we can reinstitute that as well, but until we can we get a little bit more direction, we're going to do appointments only. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for sure. I've had to make some changes, and I had a plan and I had to change that a little bit, but I never had a doubt that we would reopen, but it's taken a lot of, but that's what it's all about when you're in business. You have to have kind of blind faith, knowing that you will make it, and we'll just come back stronger afterwards. I never had a doubt that we would come back.
Well, I have to say we are looking forward to you coming back. Of course, you are the official barbershop of YourTV and myself. So looking forward to getting a fresh haircut
So
we can show off
honored.
on the news once again. But very excited for you. Thank you very much for taking the time today, Jennifer, to talk about this.
Thank you very much to both of you for having me.
So seems like good news for local businesses. There is a move to reopen some more, restaurants, barbershops, things like that. Tell me your first impressions of this reopening phase.
Very much needed. I think anyone that's been speaking with business owners in our area, and I'm sure in many areas in Ontario, know that this is the time of year when they really need to make their money. And of course, public safety is paramount in this. But as we've seen in our area, we've been quite fortunate with a relative low number of cases. Certainly, we hope that by opening the economy up, that doesn't lead to more cases. But this needed to happen at some point. And with the daily case totals in Ontario trending downward, and with the government taking a more regional approach, hopefully this is an opportunity for many of those businesses to start getting people back to work and making money again.
Graydon, one of the themes that we're hearing over and over here is that this is too fast. Not too fast to open the economy, but too fast in letting businesses know ahead of time that they can reopen. What's your thoughts on that? Should the government really be providing more, at least with the local businesses, on what's coming?
I guess that would be nice. At the same time, it's not as though you're mandated to open on Friday. It's just that you can. So local businesses will just have to take the amount of time that they feel is necessary to get back to full steam and get their employees back. I think the challenge for the province is that when they're basing this off public health advice, they don't have a very far window into the future with which to make estimates. Admittedly, though, it is frustrating. It's frustrating for municipal government, too, because much like businesses, we find out all this stuff at exactly the same time, and it affects our facilities and our programs. So very much like a private sector employer in that regard, that once these plans come down, we have to move smartly to try and adjust to them.
Now, from the municipal side, one of the discussions, or the reopenings, announced was the recreational spaces outside. I know Bracebridge, it doesn't have a huge amount that it may be changing in terms of what it's reopening. But when something like that comes down, what's the process that it goes through with the municipality? Does it have to go through council first, or can it just be reopened?
No, it's a staff thing where folks in our public works department and our manager of parks is looking at our inventory of what we have, what can be reopened, what the exact guidelines are from the province, which we'll get a copy of, and then going through a process with staff to schedule that time to do any maintenance or make sure that everything is in good working order before it's open again for public use. So in this case, our parks are certainly impacted, but also they're talking about swimming pools. And I don't know if they're only referring to outdoor swimming pools, but if they're referring to indoor swimming pools, obviously we have one of those. So, we'd have to take a close look at that and see what it means for our overall programming and facility management.
Graydon, if you had, a wish on what comes next in stage 3, what would you be most hopeful for in terms of reopenings?
I'd really like to see restaurants have an opportunity to have some people in their establishments. As much as it's great that outdoor service can take place now and patios will be able to accommodate people, not every restaurant has a patio. Not every restaurant has the capacity to have a patio or to have something built or expanded all of the sudden. A lot of our businesses in Bracebridge are in tucked away corners, or they're small little shops, and they depend on people coming in and sitting down and having something to eat. And even if that can happen on a partial basis, I think that will be a great help. We all like to go out and eat. And oftentimes in communities such as ours in Bracebridge, or whether it's Huntsville or Gravenhurst or any of the communities in Muskoka, that often leads to other things, shopping and checking out the town, as it were. So that's a real catalyst, I think, to help get our economy going and really feel like we're back to normal.
All right. Well, we will look forward at least to hitting some patios, I'm sure, this weekend, which reopen again. So, Graydon, thanks very much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.